your secret practice, which I don't have a problem with it being secret, but you know, let's take the journey into how you get into running a not for profit.
Yeah, so I think what is probably relevant is just getting into like punk music. That's probably but that's like at age 13. I'm like,
what year?
1993.
Oh, we're the same age. You look much younger.
Oh, it's all that yoga. No, kidding.
Now I'm trying to like look at your crow's feet, and I'm like, yeah, they're not that bad.
I feel like
93 was a good year. 94 was a great year for mainstream music too. That was the year a bunch of shit came out.
Yeah, I mean, holy crap. I mean, we didn't know what we had back then. We kind of did though, because I think that grunge was like in full effect.
Yeah.
And
91 was 90 or
so
91 was Nevermind, and I think that's pretty much when that shit happened.
Yeah, like 5th grade, I was at least through even osmosis of my brother and just what's going on. You're getting all of that even young, and so Smashing Pumpkins was like this. I was always I always needed like a music.
I'm glad you brought him up, because I didn't want to be the one to bring him up, but yeah, that's the album that I was thinking about.
Oh yeah, I mean it just like and Pearl Jam 10 actually was in 5th grade. My friend Timmy had a metal. His dad was a total into metal and rock and all that. So Timmy let me borrow that tape, and that probably, then my mom was really into it too.
Really?
Yeah. And so then that I was just into it. I would just listen to it over and over. And then that kind of just alternative culture, I feel like, was just in.
Were you into zines and stuff? Like, so that like Xerox aesthetic era of like DIY kind of stuff, did that speak to you, or were you separate from that?
Yeah, like, so I discovered this NoFX. There was about 200 Indian families like in Colorado at the time, so we were all really tight. We'd go to each other's house. That was like our weekend thing, is getting together. The Gen X generation, they, some of them were older. I was kind of younger. Just I'm like, we're barely millennials, right? She had this downstairs. I just discovered NoFX and Sonic Youth. I mean, when that night, I'll never forget it, because it just like set me in motion, a certain thing. And once that happened, I was like propelled in a sense. And so, just that kind of, then I started sharing it with my friends in 7th grade, 8th grade. Then we started skating. It just coalesced with skating, zine making.
Were you taking pictures of your friends with the like photography? Did that play in? Because that's a common origin story.
We did have we had a friend of ours who did like all of the video. So he was like, I was in the art and English literature like area of the like school. Down the hall was the photography lab. Brad was there, a couple of others were there, Gwen was there, and then we had Brad. Brad was like way up the hall too, further in the like TV video production. He was working on, so I think we had the bases covered in terms of like how to operate.
So then when did you decide to go to school for it? And where did you study? Did you study in New York? I
went to the Maryland Institute College of Art as undergrad.
MICA?
Yeah, in Baltimore.
Were you a painter?
No, I did like a general fine art.
Did you work with Barry Nemeth?
I knew who he was,
okay. but that dude was a visiting teacher at a school I went to, and he clicked something for me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He had a real classical,
he was a plein air, plein air as fuck, and I was in Florence, so it was like perfect timing. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Italy is still one place I really want to go to.
Oh man,
just like that. Yeah, I think I'm ready for that one. I wasn't into like, I'm not like a painter's painter, right? Like I was sort of by way of like interdisciplinary sculpture, language of sculpture. And then whatever happens is more through the language of sculpture. So, but yeah, I was, just kind of,
so wait, does that mean you have a secret practice that's sculpture?
Yeah, a little bit.
And your storage. That's what I love about 3D art is that it takes up space. So,
well, I feel like the sort of like the workaround of sculpture is photography.
Oh, okay. So you document and then.
So yeah, and then what I started doing was sort of doing these little like almost like vitrines from like herb boxes.
Okay.
And so then last year was just like a tough year, right? So I was kind of a little bit, like kind of stuck in LA, and I was really trying to get over this funding gap hump. So there was a lot going on, right? And so I think what I did was I kind of responded with like ritual by ritualizing everything. And so then I started just taking the like remnants of activities that of things that I did, like tracking in little like, little like these like spiky spherical ball things and, mixing them with like a pen I just expended on journaling or, something like that. But then I just started the marking time that way.
Okay.
And then I just started writing down like how will I remember like summer. And so I just really started kind of expanding on the physical objects. And then also, but then I've been kind of taking pictures just in a way that feels more like I have a trove and I just am waiting to kind of figure out what happens with that. Yeah. But I just keep kind of accumulating.
Cool. Yeah. Well, you kind of downplayed it when I invited you on the show. You were like, all I do is this, but I didn't realize you still had a practice. So tell me a little bit more about the LA Art Core and what that space is like, and then how it applies back to that. You were saying something about the primary A and the primary B, and that was in relation to I forget what it was called, the kind of practice that you were saying. You said something and I asked you to identify it, and then I paraphrased it. This makes great podcasting. This format of question, but the idea that the practice of facilitating another practice. What is that called again?
Oh, like community arts?
Yeah, community arts.
Yeah. And so I've been really inspired by like social practice and just the artists that were working within social practice. And so I almost really feel close to that in terms of like directing a nonprofit, and that's just thinking about what that is and what the point is of a nonprofit and what the opportunities are, which are to kind of build like community knowledge, build shared knowledge, share resources, actual resources, share and be between the art world and like the community and bridge that, so that it is that the voices on the ground are seen, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, which is just like the opposite of like I just went to an art fair.
Did you this
Frieze?
Weekend?
I went to Felix, but I saw Frieze online.